Maker down.
Relay.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for listening to MKR Relay. This is your one-stop shop for updates on the MakerDAO ecosystem. Let's jump into it. This week, the executive vote has already passed with 57,000 MKR. The Ether A debt ceiling increased from $740 million to $1 billion. The Wrapped Bitcoin A debt ceiling increased from $160 million to $210 million DAI, and the global debt ceiling will increase by $310 million DAI. Next up, we have the polls currently available. There are 4 polls for debt ceiling adjustments. If passed, these will move to an executive vote on Friday the 22nd. The first 2 are to decrease the debt ceilings of BAT from 10 to 2 million and TrueUSD from 135 million to 0 DAI. The last 2 are to increase the Link debt ceiling from 10 to 20 million DAI and Mana from 250,000 to 1 million DAI. The monthly MIPS poll is also up for voting and includes MIP 29 for the PEG stability module, MIP 30 for the farmable CUSDC adapter, the GovCom's declaration of intent, and MIPS to onboard Sebastian to the risk team, Sam to the smart contracts team, and Juan to the operational support team. There are 4 more governance polls which propose whitelisting InstaDApp on the ETHUSD Oracle, rolling out the debt ceiling instant access module, providing compensation to the Vault Compensation Working Group, and increasing the dust parameter from 500 to 2,000 DAI. Next up, we've got the community Greenlight polls, which close on February 1st at 1600 UTC. This week we have 10 collateral types up for polling. These types include Stake XDAI, Lido DAO Staked Ether, People's Company Drop Token, Ren Filecoin, Wrapped Filecoin, Uniswap liquidity tokens for DAI USDC, DAI YFI, DAI USDT, and DAI Wrapped Bitcoin, and Wrapped Bitcoin Ether Balancer Pool tokens. Last week in governance, an executive vote passed to change multiple stability fees, whitelist Gnosis and Set protocols for multiple oracles, increase the minimum bid and bid duration for FLAP, also known as surplus auctions, increase the system surplus buffer from 4 to 10 million DAI, and revoke the liquidation circuit breaker permissions over USDC A and B, TrueUSD, PaxUSD, and GUSD. Next up, we've got the most recent signal requests. There are often new signal requests, so please check those out in the forum at forum.makerdao.com, linked in the description. The first of the requests is to adjust the Ether A debt ceiling from 540 million to 740 million DAI. Second, there's an interim DAO operating budget. The poll for this has closed, but the post is still open for review, so please go offer your feedback on that. The poll passed with a large majority agreeing to proceed with the budget, and the budget will transfer bills from the DAO Autonomous Working Group to a multi-signature wallet owned by mandated domain facilitators. Last up, we have a signal request to create a new vault type for Ether. This would come with a higher liquidity ratio and a lower stability fee than the current Ether A and B vault types. Next up, we have this week's Maker improvement proposals. There are 9 proposals this week, and these are in the request for comments phase, so please head to the forum to provide your feedback. This week's MIPS include MIP 26, the governance contract redesign, which defines DSS Gov, a contract replacement for the current DS Chief. DS Chief facilitates voting on the current state of the Maker protocol, and the proposed redesign is said to come with improved security, usability, and functionality. MIP 31 is a technical MIP for an active reserve based on the Uniswap v2 contract called DSS ARA. MIP 32 proposes an extension to the PEG stability module, which would allow the module to leverage CDAI. MIP 34 considers a mechanism to fund domain teamwork called the KEG Streaming Payments module. This module would reduce and eventually eliminate the DAO's dependency on the Maker Foundation to facilitate payments to contributors. MIP 37 defines a static reserve for maker governance, which would be able to receive tokens from anyone and allow governance to withdraw them. MIP 38 is called the DAO primitive state. This MIP defines the core units, budgets, and facilitators within the DAO. This MIP has a handful of MIPs and sub-proposals that follow to help build out the framework. MIP 39 provides a plan for managing the core units and modifying them in accordance with the previous MIP. MIP 40 proposes a plan for creating and managing budgets. And last up, MIP 41 is a framework and sub-proposal process for managing facilitators and their responsibilities. We have 4 sub-proposals in the request for comments phase. These sub-proposals include MIP 13C3-SP9, which proposes onboarding a new collateral type backed by B protocol. This would be an experiment into a native integration between B protocol and the MakerDAO protocol and the Maker protocol. MIP 4C2-SP10 suggests edits to MIP 0, which proposed a framework for MIPs. The main change here would be removing the inbuilt functionality of MIP 0 to onboard core personnel. The alternative here would be to use MIP 38, the DAO primitive state. MIP 4C2-SP11 proposes edits to MIP 5, which define the protocol's need for an emergency vote. The main change here is to the facilitator emergency vote process, which would be altered to fall in line with MIP 38, the DAO primitive status. Finally, MIP 4C2-SP12 proposes edits to MIP 16, which instilled the weekly governance cycle. The main change here is to clarify the governance powers of facilitators, and this is also in conjunction with MIP 38. Next up, we have updates from the domain teams. The smart contracts domain team is working hard on Liquidations 2.0. Code is currently being audited and will be posted publicly in the forums. MIP 21 for adopting real-world assets is close to being done, with MIP 22 for the centrifuge direct liquidation module following. The risk domain team is working on a budget proposal as well as a roadmap for the risk domain that will also be posted in the forum soon. Our Oracle's domain team had 2 proposals pass recently. Those were the proposals to whitelist Gnosis and Set protocol on multiple oracles. And the team has 17 more proposals in the pipeline. The group is also exploring leads on auditing firms for the Uniswap LP oracle. State of the peg is currently looking good, moving exponentially closer to the dollar. Total outstanding DAI is at 1.4 billion, and given the bull market, collateralization ratios are generally safe from liquidation. That's all for this edition of MKR Relay. Please post in the forum, take our survey, or join us in the community development chat channel to let us know what you want to see. Check out the links in the description for more information, and thanks for listening.